Glad to have you join us again. Now let's get talking on the second segment of the program. Financial inclusion in Nigeria has had undeniable successes with the onboarding of residents to the banking sector consistently progressing. But the overall exclusion rate continues to exceed official targets, not least due to low financial literacy. Meanwhile, the uptake of digital financial services, notably mobile money, is still lower than in peer countries, and overcoming this would require improving digital financial literacy, upgrading digital infrastructure, and promoting incubation and sound practices of fintech firms. However, in the bid to upscale financial inclusion in Nigeria, the Central Bank of Nigeria on the 19th of May this year launched a financial literacy e-learning platform dubbed as Sabi Money to achieve the 95% financial inclusion target by 2024. To make more sense of this development and other issues concerning financial inclusion in Nigeria, I'm now being joined live virtually by Kola Wole Rukayat Oluseun, who is the Chief Executive Officer and co-founder of Register. Rukayat, good morning and many thanks for joining us on the program.
All right, good morning. Thank you so much. My name is Kola Wole Rukayat Oluwaseun, not Oluseun.
Oluwaseun, I beg your pardon for the mispronunciation.
No problem, it's fine.
Okay, so
thank you.
Good. Let's get talking now. I want us to start up with this Sabi Money platform that the Central Bank of Nigeria came up with sometime last month. And I want to get your perception and assessment to it. Do you think this platform will live up to its expectation of making Nigeria achieve 100% financial literacy by 2024?
Okay, thank you so much. So when you say 100%, I'm not sure if there is something that we've done that is 100%. So note that first. So it's never going to be 100%, but I'm very sure that they are going to, try their best to make sure that it's actually increased from the point where it is now to a certain number of percentage. But for the 100%, I am not sure. Yeah.
Okay, so let's look at the rise of techs, that's financial technology companies in the country. Despite their increase, penetration of financial literacy in Nigeria is still low, with a current state of 64.1%. What do you think is responsible for this?
All right, thank you so much for this question. And I think before I answer this, we need to understand what financial inclusion is all about. So at times when you talk about financial inclusion, you see people talking about payment solutions, so the people who are already banked alone. No, financial inclusion is not about that. So when you talk about financial inclusion, it actually means that individuals and businesses have access to useful and affordable financial products and services, not just one product. So products and services, that can meet their basic and financial needs. So which is delivered in a responsible and sustainable way. So what am I trying to say is, when you talk about financial inclusion, majority of people look at it and say, oh, maybe people who can actually use smartphones, people will have access to internet. We are not talking about that alone. So financial inclusion encompasses what is all about account opening, loans, savings, micro pension, micro insurance, payment solution, and so many more. So that is financial inclusion itself. So, and for the question, if I get that correctly, so I would say to actually answer that question, the fintechs and every other financial institutions in Nigeria today are actually trying, but the fact still remains that they are neglecting people who actually need the financial inclusion, to be candid with you. So like the communities where we are, you still find them difficult. When they see us, they still see us as God. They see us like Messiah, because when you talk about financial inclusion, it's actually something that is very new. So talking about financial inclusion is not about in Lagos, Abuja, or Port Harcourt alone. It has to be everywhere. It has to be, it has to be in the rural community. Like when you talk about Ilorin, or when you talk about Ibadan, for example, we have, some local governments that they've never been to banks before. So that is where I think financial inclusion should be, as a major, not in the city at all, not for people like you and I who already have access to the internet or who already have smartphones. Yeah.
So
thank you.
Yeah, great submission there, and thank you for enlightening us on what financial inclusion is all about, and also digging deep into other areas that financial inclusion also encompass. But let me ask you this question now. I know you have an agency, a company that's also trying to bridge that gap in financial inclusion in Nigeria. So let's talk about rural development now. What is Register doing to bridge financial inclusion in rural development? And then again, how best can government come in to play a pivotal role to support your initiative, and what other fintechs and financial institutions are doing?
So that's a beautiful question, which I love to answer anywhere I go. So first of all, Register, we are a fintech company, that provides quick, easy, and simple access to financial services for the unbanked and micro businesses in rural and peri-urban communities in Africa. First of all, we are actually doing very well to bridge the financial inclusion gap in Nigeria and Africa as a whole. So the first thing we need to know when it comes to financial inclusion is transaction accounts, which is simply known as account opening. 80% of our customers do not have bank accounts. I love to say this anywhere. They do not have bank accounts. They never visited bank before. In fact, when you tell them to open bank account, they will tell you, I don't want to. I don't want to have anything to do with bank. I don't want to stress myself, on my money. Because they lack awareness. They thought, okay, you having a bank account is going to be stressful for you, and a lot of things. So talking about financial inclusion, the first aspect of financial inclusion is the transaction account, which is account opening. So what are we doing in Register to bridge this? Is initially when we started, we were only giving loans and give them access to savings. But when we now realize that all of these people coming to us do not have bank accounts, so what can be the reason? Why are they running from banks? So we realize that the documentation from banks, the stress, and even lack of awareness are making them not to want to open bank accounts, with anybody, and even the trust. They never trust any bank. You understand? So what we are able to do as an organization is, first of all, to open a transaction account, which is account opening for these people, because we believe that is like a gateway, to financial inclusion. Because account opening, you can save your money, you can receive and probably save payments through your account opening. So the first thing we are able to do is to partner with a Providence Bank in Nigeria. So we've gotten their API, which enables us to open accounts for the agent and for the customer. That is number one. So on the digital wallets that we are able to open for them, that way we provide them access to loan. They can get loan in that same account. There are some places you go, you want to collect loan, they still tell you to bring account number, whether it's your account or your family account or your friend's account, whatever. So that is not promoting financial inclusion. So how can you say you want to promote financial inclusion and the people you are targeting do not have bank accounts? So we are able to open account for them, like I said, and we also give them access to loan. And when you talk about loan as well, that you want to promote financial inclusion, it's actually not right when you are not targeting their basic needs, because research has shown that majority of these people actually default because they don't have access to basic amenities, like they don't have access to food. They may be thinking of, I want to buy rice, I want to pay for my children's school fees, I want to pay for shop rents. All of these things, they do not have access to it. So how do we make sure that, they are not defaulting, they have access to the basic needs? And that's why in Register, we've been able to tailor all our solutions, to address the basic and financial needs of the people at the bottom of the pyramid. Then we also give them access to saving, so they can save on our platform. So in Register today, we have 3 types of savings. We have a personal savings, we have for micro pension, they will also have for insurance. So they already know the meaning of these things. For personal savings, they know that, if they have any problem, they can actually fall back to their savings and get it. So if they, for the insurance, they know maybe if they have maybe burglary, theft, fire fire whatever, they can actually come to register and say, oh, I want my money, or they recover the money to do all of that. And this is actually from experience, because it happened to my mom when she lost all her stocks, all her, everything due to fire outbreak. She was not able to recover all of this because she did not have insurance. Even the savings she had then, it was even in piggy, what is it called? Piggy box. So yeah, she lost everything. So and that's why in register, because of that experience, we've been able to bring everything together and see how we can solve this. The savings I'm talking about, I talk about the personal savings, then I also talk about the insurance, and now the micro pension. So we currently partner with ARM Pension for micro pension, so that in the long run, these micro businesses we are talking about would not be thinking about, oh, I want to get money from my children. They can always rely or fall back to the money they have in their pension account. Okay. So that's what we, and for the government to come, assist. So I would say, like the End Power they did in 2018, 2019 is actually a very good initiative. But it's so sad that I think they stopped. So I would encourage them to continue, because somebody like Register is also going to benefit, and even the people we are targeting. So that way, financial exclusion is going to reduce drastically to the point they actually want it to be. Thank you.
Okay, so I need to ask you this now. You made mention of some key points as to the reasons behind we having financial inclusion rates still going up at 64.1%. A lot of Nigerians has lost faith in the financial institution, and then the recent incidents that happened in the first quarter of this year, which brought about the Naira redesign policy that made Nigerians, a lot of Nigerians, not being able to have access to their own hard-earned money. Now, with this, there seems to be a trust deficit between the banking customers and also the financial institutions, and this also has made money in circulation to also increase. So what should the CBN, what role should the CBN be playing to bring about some sense of trust, to bridge that trust deficit again, to bring about a reduction in financial inclusion and reduction in money in circulation?
So, all right, thank you. And I would advise the CBN to probably talk to the financial institutions, especially the commercial banks. When you want to deal with the micro businesses, I'm sorry to say this in Yoruba. Yoruba will say, "Tabape mu obo, mashebi obo." Do you understand? I am not trying to categorize anybody as a monkey, but what I'm trying to say is, if you want to deal with micro businesses, you need to come down to their level. You understand? Like, they trust the thrift collectors as against the bank, because those people they are closer to them, and that's why in Register we've been able to adopt that model to say, oh, okay, we want to target the micro businesses. We are closer to our customers, so we are able to appoint every agent in all communities that we have today. So how are we able to do that? So we are able to do what is called community banking. So that way, all agents are now financial ambassadors, to the communities they belong to. So I would say the CBN should advise the financial institution that whenever you want to deal with the micro businesses, you don't do as if you have it all, because it is their money. Whenever they save, they want to get the money anytime they want. So you telling them to go and bring this, go and bring that. So all the processes, they should try and cut it off. If not all, they should reduce it drastically. At times, our customers will tell us that, I don't want my money, don't transfer to my account, because the stress of withdrawing the money, I want cash. Because we want to make sure that financial inclusion is going, we will give them that cash. That way you can now charge them 200 naira on the cash you are giving them. They prefer that instead of stressing themselves to go to the ATM or go to the bank and all. So I would say all the processes of, okay, go and bring this one before you get this one, they should reduce it drastically. And if they can come down to their levels, that way it's going to be fine. They can be closer to them, like the way Register is doing currently. So we don't form as big banks, we come down to their levels, and that way they tend to trust us more.
Okay, finally now, as we wrap up this segment of the program, 2 questions, and I appreciate if you will answer them in 30 seconds. First off, you made mention of how Nigerians are complaining about the stress of going to the bank, and that is why banks have brought about digital services to ease up transaction opportunities and stuff like that. Now, do you think that the financial institutions are doing well to enlighten Nigerians, especially those in the rural community, on how to go about taking advantage of digital services to bridge that financial inclusion gap? And finally, what would you say is your projection for the Nigerian financial sector, that's the fintech space, the growth of the fintech space for the year 2023? What is your projection? All this question in 30 minutes. Can we achieve that?
Yes, we can. Thank you so much.
Pardon, not 30 minutes, 30 seconds.
Yeah. All right, so the financial institutions are actually doing very well, when it comes to the payment solution, but that's just one aspect of financial inclusion. So what I think of them is if they can also imbibe the loan aspect, so that the way you see POS operators everywhere you go, if there are maybe availability of loan services everywhere you can go, that would be fine as well. So not just opening accounts or not just giving access to payment solutions, like the loan, like the insurance, the pension I we talked about, should also be well circulated. That way, we are going to have a little financial whatever, in Nigeria. And that's for the first question. And for the last question, I think fintechs in Nigeria is growing tremendously, to be candid. And I would say by 2023, so if we can achieve more than 50% of what we have now, it's going to be fine. Yeah, thank you.
All right, Kola Wole Rukayat Oluwaseun, I believe I got that correctly now.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being a part of the show today. She is the CEO and co-founder of Register. Thank you for your time on the show this morning.
All right. Thank you so much for having me, and for the listeners, thank you so much for listening.